Okay, so here's a tong I was recently working on. It's going to be used to hold folded tomahawks from the back end of the eye. I formed the jaw basically freehand and was going back and forth to get it just right, and I kept thinking if I had a simple jig that would really help me for this style of jaw. So imagine if this piece is folded towards the front and welded on the front end, on the cutting end, and then you're using this tong to hold from the pole or the back end of the eye. So me and my simpleton brain just grab a few pieces of steel here, and I'm thinking if I had something spaced like that would really help with the jaw forming. And now you might say, well, why don't you just use the Hardy hole? Well, it's not that simple because I'd like to be able to make this open like that, and then also the Hardy hole is too sharp on the edges. In my last live stream, I forgot to thank two guys who donated during that live stream, and because I just was fumbling around, as everyone knows, and so I'd like to thank them here. They are DK Wolf and Super Pedro. And I'd quickly like to also thank the others who also donated during that live stream, and they are It's Only Gaz, or maybe Gaz, Roger Raitan, Ed Zimmerman, Thomas Brighton, Christ-Centered Ironworks, and Dave Thor. Thanks, everyone. The next live stream should be a good one, and it's going to be about the same time, which should be about 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., and in about 1 week's time. Usually it's about Thursday or Friday my time, so Wednesday or Thursday U.S. time. This 8mm bit is really dull. One of my most popular and certainly the most hated video of all time is where I show myself sharpening a drill bit using a block of wood like this with a hole cut at a specific angle. It just helps me in a pinch to sharpen a dull drill, and a lot of people don't like this, but it's not for everyone, and that's fine. Got a little bit too much bite for this cordless drill. So like most everything that I do, this is pretty simple, straightforward, and should work, but we'll see. I'm thinking I want to radius those bars a little more, but I'll use it once or twice and then make a determination. And so my thought is that I can simply use washers as spacers to open the distance between the two bars to suit whatever tong jaws or whatever else I'm working on. So rather than make a complete tong, I just want to see if I can replicate the tomahawk or hammer eye jaws that I want. got a little bit too much material towards the front end, but I can see this is going to work very well once I get the spacing figured out. I was recently working on some hammers, and so I put the thick rubber mat underneath this anvil, so that's why it's jiggling around like a bowl of jello. I'll try a second piece, but I'll thin the front end out a little bit first. Since the front end of the jaw is not biting on that front bar so much, so the back end keeps tipping up. I thought this would happen, but I'll figure out something. I shorten the distance just a little bit more. That helps a little bit, but not quite enough. I still got some other tricks up my sleeve. You can see on the first bar that I worked on, the thickness of the front end really bit into that front bar, and so it didn't tip up. As this one sinks in, it gets a little bit better, but still not quite there. I need some back pressure on the other end. This works like a charm. Sorry that my hand is in the way there. By the way, that block with the hole in it is the first anvil/anvil-like object I ever owned. After some fiddling around with this, I should be able to accomplish what I want on the jaw there in 1 or maybe 2 heats at the most. So, thinking about a folded tomahawk, just as a little extra, I fool around with this flat piece. This piece is probably too small for a practical tomahawk, but I just want to show that this jig probably could be used in this way and be very effective as well. I was thinking that if I thinned each end first before bending in the jig, that would have been really good. And that would have allowed me to forge weld that end much easier if that's what I wanted to accomplish. But this piece is just mild steel. I'm just using this as a demonstration. But I'll make a proper one of these in an upcoming video. I think that would make a really interesting video for sure. I decide to thin the edge further just to see. Now you can imagine if I had the tong style that I spoke about earlier, the tomahawk, or maybe call it the hatchet or axe eye tong, that would be ideal for something like this. This very simple jig shows a lot of potential. I think a lot of guys could benefit from having this sort of jig. I guarantee this will make more appearances in future videos. And so the end result of that jig is I want to make a jaw like this and just make it easier. And you can see how this grasps. You have to make sure that it can grasp from the front coming in, because if this piece is folded, you can't push it in from the side then. So it has to open wide enough like this so you can put that stock in frontwards. Well, that's all for now. I'll catch you guys next time.